was 1997 was when I first turned on to the whole concepts of raw foods. I had been eating a large percentage of raw foods for about, 7 years prior to that. So I've been eating raw foods for about 20 years now. I just turned 40 last month. And I'm just really inspired by this movement. I mean, I've just been saturated by the raw food scene. And specifically the last 7 years, I've really been immersing myself deeper and deeper and deeper in what I'm doing. What I see myself as is a transitional chef. You know, I really look at myself as someone who's turning on people who really have no idea that this can even taste good, so that I can open up their awareness, so that they can start finding their own way. Because let's face it, we all do things differently, we all feel things differently, think differently, we taste differently. So I'm trying to really market what I do and focus on what I do to make it for the masses. So I say that I don't make raw. I make food for everyone but raw foodists. I'm not saying that like because like I'm a raw foodist myself. I mean, I love good tasting food, but I'm here to help inspire you to help turn on people in your family and all of your friends who are like raw foods. Like, oh, that's apples and oranges. That's one of the reasons I'm here. Another is that I am actually focusing on this class as being as you already know, a proteolytic probiotic culture class. So I'm kind of doing what I live for, which is turning on the masses through the taste buds. But what I'm going to teach you tonight is actually rarely being taught in the whole raw food world. And it's like one of those most optimal parts and ways of eating raw foods. I don't know if any of you are aware of what a proteolytic probiotic is, but I'm sure you probably have heard of probiotics, right? Yeah. Okay. So there are a bunch of probiotics, and they're all good. I've only found 2 proteolytic probiotics. One from this friend of mine's company, Ascended Health, down in Los Angeles, and I've looked and I've searched. And another is from this company in Montana called Natural Choice Products. I've teamed up with Natural Choice Products, and I'm using theirs specifically because it really works quickly. It expands the probiotic cultures, the friendly bacteria, from billions to trillions within like 3 to 4 hours of culturizing it, so it's like quick. And it's basically makes the food taste amazing. It like mocks dairy recipes really well. So like the cheeses, the yogurts, the dips, the sauces, it really gives it that like dairy flavor, more than the other one that I found. Now, proteolytic probiotics are unique in the sense, okay, proteolytic is P-R-O. Yeah, it's actually, it's right there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And you know what? If you have any questions for me that pertain like right to what I'm doing in the moment, that needs to be said and addressed for everyone else, and you catch me on one, you know, please hit me up. But try to write down any questions, because we're going to have a questions and answer at the end, and I'll just focus on that. But so a proteolytic probiotic, basically what a proteolytic probiotic does is it pre-digests nuts and seeds. So when you blend and whip it up in a food processor or a blender, and you add this proteolytic probiotic, it actually pre-digests the nuts and seeds. So within that like 2 to 6 hours, depending on the temperature of your house, your kitchen, or the humidity level of it, it culturizes it and it pre-digests it. It turns your proteins into essential aminos. It turns your fats into essential fatty acids. It turns the carbs into glucose. Wow. So it's like, you know, it's amazing. I learned this concept after being into raw foods for, I've been into, like, knowledgeably been into it for about 13 years. After like 10 years, from my mentor, Lou Corona. I don't know if any of you all know who he is. You can Google loucorona.com.org. He is amazing. He's been doing this for 38 years. He'll be 60 in less than a year. And I mean, he is a superhero. And he's been doing all raw living cultured foods for 38 years now. And he like beat like some amazing, some just off the charts. Big huge tumor on the back of his head, like arthritis, like all these like these degenerative diseases that he had at 21, and he like learned these concepts. Proteolytic probiotic cultured foods being one of them, raw living foods being another, but then a whole full spectrum of holistic things as well, which I urge you to check out his website because you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But he's who taught me about the proteolytic probiotics. And so I'm trying to share the knowledge by using his concepts, but with my spin on it, with my flavors, tantalizing people's taste buds. So this is the first class that I've ever done on proteolytic probiotics that I didn't do with him. So I do class with him down in LA on and off, and it's like I'm doing his recipes, but putting a BeLive twist on it. So I'm flavoring them, which is a lot of fun. But these are all my recipes that I've actually taken this proteolytic probiotic, which there's a link if you're interested in getting it. Now, be aware that all of these recipes where it says proteolytic probiotic, and it's used, and you're wanting to use this, you can use Rejuvelac, you can use other probiotics, but they're not going to culturize as quick, and it's not going to be proteolytic, so it's not going to do the pre-digestion, which I'm talking about. That's why I'm urging, get into it. Another really cool thing about this product right here is that once you've culturized something, tonight, as you can see on the menu, we're making almond coconut yogurt. This is actually a recipe that I learned from Lou Corona. This is one of his key signature recipes. And then we're going to use that in the base of a bunch of other ones. And then I'm also making a cheese and a sour cream. What's really unique with this is that you can take a teaspoon of this, put it into your original recipe. And so I'm going to explain this once because it's what I'm going to do 3 times when I'm actually making these recipes with you. But you take a teaspoon of this, and then you food process it or blend it, then you let it sit, you culturize it, and then when you're to the end of the use of that recipe, take another teaspoon of that, or take a teaspoon of the recipe that you're using, put it towards the next one. And it's a starter. So you can keep going off it for, I've done it over a month before, off the same one.
Why can't you do it longer? I mean, I've done sourdough.
I've done it longer. I don't suggest it because it seems to it's different than some probiotics and some cultures. From what I've experienced, it seems to get at one point a month and a half. I've never really timed it to get the specific timing, but it seems just it's I want to start over.
Okay.
There's something in it, It's not that it's bad. Something that's going bad. It's just I just feel I just need to start over and get that power started again.
So it's not strong enough.
It doesn't seem strong enough, correct. Yeah.
How much does that cost?
This right here is 2 ounces and it's about $52. This company's awesome. This company is really cool. It is a network marketing company, but the reason why they did that is because they have another really unique and amazing thing about this company is that they have digestive enzymes and isolated systemic enzymes. So when I say that, they have proteases, amylases, cellulase, lipase, all isolated, which is really hard to get. And then they have systemic, they have a blend of systemic enzyme, which they call vitalase, which is about 4 times the strength of their multiple digestive enzymes. It's their systemic one. And then their multiple digestive enzymes are about 2 to 3 times more potent than what you buy in the store, let's say an enzymatic gold. Enzymatic gold is the most potent ones I've found in the stores. I've searched around and then I've done tests, oatmeal tests, to see how easy and how quick it breaks it down.
Maybe we should all take this opportunity.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe make sure that they're on vibrate. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. My fault.
Do you mind passing that around so we can?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to use it. But once I'm done talking, so you guys can check it out real quick. It's gonna be going into the recipes, or we can, let's do that. Let's pass it around, check it out. The enzymes, I have to just explain a little more about these enzymes because they're really badass. But I've done tests where I've taken enzymes from different ones you can buy in the store, and what we call an oatmeal test, where we take instant oatmeal and we make it up, we put it in a cup and let it sit, let it cool off so it gets really sticky, where you can throw it onto the top of the wall and it stick, and you can use it as glue. Like it's so sticky. And put 1 enzyme of the regular enzyme company in there and stir it around. It takes a while. It'll break it down, but not all the way, and it takes a while. Well, when you take one of the multiple digestive enzymes from Natural Choice products, it breaks it down like within a minute or two. And you're like, whoa. I mean, it's like proof is right in front of you. It's like, and you can tell. I've also really been happy with this company because not only are they like 2 to 3 times more potent than what you can buy for multiple digestive enzymes in the store, they're about half of the price. And there's no obligations. You don't have to sign up as a distributor. You can just sign up as a preferred customer and order their enzymes and order their probiotic. And there's no skin off anyone's back. Yes, you can become a distributor, but it's a really cool, very, very high integrity company, which is really cool. Lou actually helped them start out, and he's very high, like he's helped them with like a lot of the formulations and ideas that they've had for them. So that's the probiotic that we're going to use tonight. If you don't get it, you can use Rejuvelat. You can use other probiotics.
How do you convert these? Do you use just a teaspoon of Rejuvelat, or how do you?
Well, if you're going to convert it, if you're going to use Rejuvelat, I would say like double it up. Use a little more, like probably like twice as much. And you're going to need to let it culturize for longer, like overnight, like for 6, 8, 10 hours. Just always when you're culturizing something, it's very, you have to be careful. It's very important that you like check on your cultured recipes. Like check to see if it's risen a little bit, it has a little bite. If it's turning purple, cover that up and get it in the refrigerator. If it's purple, you know, like if you can't skim off the top there and it's not, and it's like white underneath or like the right color underneath, start over. Because you don't want to risk like having any. I know I don't want to use it, so I always will toss it out if it starts getting purple and copy it. But I know people who just take the top of it off and say that it's fine. So, but I'm not going to suggest to do that. So I think that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and start up. And tonight, as is on your recipe list, so I don't know if I'm doing it in this particular order. Let's see here. It's almost in this order. I'm doing the almond coconut yogurt first, and then we're going to do the cream of broccoli soup. Then I'm going to do the cultured ranch dressing. And then I'm going to do the cashew mac and cheese. So literally it's everything except for the cultured ranch dressing and the cream of broccoli soup are in order. And those are going to be served together. So you're going to get to taste all of this tonight too as well. So. Thank you all for coming. This is really cool. I'm really excited to be here. It's my first time back to the Bay. I used to have a restaurant, a raw restaurant. I bought it from Juliana, who actually had a restaurant called Raw in San Francisco about 12 years ago. And I took it over and had a restaurant called Organica, the living cuisine, that lasted for about a year. And then we both moved down to LA. And I kind of got in the music and film business for a while and kind of got away from the food thing. And then about 7 years ago, went back deep into it and just have been growing ever since. I plan on doing a book soon. I have an ebook right now. It's called Orgasm of the Taste Buds. And you can find it on my website. It's really good. There are 30 like really simple recipes that are very tasty. So I always suggest to soak all nuts and seeds because of the enzyme inhibitor on most of them. But then also when there is no enzyme inhibitor, such as with cashews. By the way, these cashews and the almonds we're using here today are all truly raw, hand whole. They haven't been pasteurized. I always like to soak the white nuts, which don't have enzyme inhibitors, and even hemp seeds that don't have enzyme inhibitors. It definitely helps make them more digestible. Even if I'm going to use them dry, I know that I can tell that it's more digestible as well if I redehydrate them and you reuse them, but dried.
Can I ask a quick question?
I had to duck for that one.
Can we let stuff culturize with just on its own too? I mean,
you can, but it doesn't create the same friendly bacteria as you get from using probiotics. and specifically from this one. This one will pre-digest it. You're not going to get that from anything other than a proteolytic probiotic. And if you have an active life, if you're working out, if you're exercising, you're going to notice a difference by using this. By using this, I would say that the almond coconut yogurt, this first recipe that I'm going to make, this is the base. This is the key to all the different recipes you can make, because you can use this in smoothies, in soups, in dressings. You could use it in sauces. You can take it by itself with some fruit and some nuts and some, so you can do many different things with this. That's why I'm going to use it on. I'm going to make it first. I'm going to use it with 2 of the recipes, and then.
Do you have to put the coconut in it? Because I know people who can't eat coconut.
You can do with this probiotic. You can use just nuts, just seeds, and then you can add stuff into it too. I've culturized, already like flavored and spiced and culturized stuff, and it came out. It keeps the flavors, but it gives it that like mock dairy taste.
Yeah,
it's really cool. Yeah. So let's start the coconut almond yogurt. Now I've already made it.
Yeah.
So you can see this is what I'm going to use. This is what it's going to actually come out as. You can add a little more liquid, or you can leave a little liquid out if you want it like more blended, if you want it less blended, if you want it like thicker or more runny. This one is going to be a little bit it's going to be more of this consistency, the recipe that you have. Now, as I make the recipes, I'm not going to do the measuring out, because I'm making food for all of y'all. And if I did that, I'd have to do like 2-3 times each one. So the measurements are in your handouts, and I've been doing this a long time, so I'm just going to go. Make it simple. Yes.
So when you say you could add more water, is it water or
water or coconut water? If you either or, you can make the coconut almond yogurt very simply. If you want it, if you can't, like she just said, if you can't eat coconut, you could just use almonds and the water, and regular water, and leave out coconut water and coconut meat. And then you can play it, and I urge you to play around with different seeds and different nuts, and with water, or coconut water.
You don't strain the almond meal out of it?
No. This is not almond milk. That would be milk. If you're making milk, you want to strain it out. Or if you're making meal or flour, you want to strain it with a nut bag. But you want all of it, because that's what's being pre-digested. That's where the aminos and the fatty acids and the glucose and all the nutrients and all that are at and stored. That's where it's going in and absorbing. So.
Can you use frozen coconut? Body Ecology has a frozen.
You can use that, yeah.
Just a thought and.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
My favorite is the coconut. I mean, I like the organic ones, but I mean, I've seen tests for the Thai coconut ones that show me that like a lot of the hype is hyped, in my opinion. I've seen like scientific tests with friends of mine who've taken them in different varieties of the Thai coconuts to see if they have all these things that people say they have, and they don't show anything. So I like the Thai coconut, the young Thai coconuts. Cost-wise, they are getting more expensive these days. But okay, so I'm gonna get started here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the almonds, pre-soaked almonds, the coconut meat, and coconut water.
How much does this make for, like the recipe? Is that for 4 people?
That recipe is it's more for a base for you can use it for like probably, it depends on how much you're going to throw into a recipe. I mean, because that could all be, it just depends on what you're using it for, because it's more of a base. So, I mean, it could be used up to like probably 8 people. You know, if you're putting just a little bit into smoothies or if you're putting, it could be for like 2 people. You know, like if you're putting it into, if you're creating a dressing or a soup or something, just kind of gotta fill it out. It's more of a base to add to other recipes. Although, like I said, you can just eat it by itself with fruit too. So. I might have to add a little more coconut water.